Hi everyone, welcome back to the 11th episode of the Parade Planners podcast. We're back after a little over a week and a half. Got a lot to talk about. There's been 5 games. There's been the game over the Sens, the 2 Oilers games, and the 2 Jets games. When we left off, the Leafs were on a really bad losing streak, and now we're back, and looks like they're on like a 4-1 run since that point. So maybe we should take more breaks. I'm just kidding, of course. So let's start off with the reasons to plan the parade. Let's just get our general thoughts about it. So just give your general one reason to plan the parade over these 5 games, and then we'll get more into the games afterwards. Okay. So I want to shout out happy birthday to Jaskaran, and as your birthday gift, you can go first with your reason to plan the parade.
Okay, my reason to plan the parade is coming up with like wins, like getting out of that slump, cause that slump was hurting us. And when Dubas said, Dubas was like he's like just run here or like just adversity makes me want to go all in, like not all in necessarily, like, to get a guy for like the top six, like even a good defenseman, like a top four defenseman, and yeah, they proved that they can get out of slumps. Unlike last year, where they were slumping all year and barely made the playoffs. So that's my reason to plan the parade. Getting out of that slump.
Yeah, man. Great teams get out of slumps, unlike Buffalo, who had quite the slump over there. Denegan, let's hear your reason to plan the parade.
Yeah, so my reason is secondary scoring. I don't know if I mentioned that last week or not, but Matt, watching Jason Spezza play, this guy plays like 10 minutes a night, but produces so many key points. Right now, Jason Spezza has 20 points in 36 games. That's on pace for 45 points in a normal regular 82 game season, and that's insane for like a fourth line player. And like the fact that we can play guys like Spezza, Galchenyuk, Simmons up and down the lineup this year, that's a massive difference from last year, where we had like some failed experiments with Johnson and Kapanen when we moved them up and down the lineup. Sometimes they couldn't fit in with the top six. So like that's a massive difference this year, and that's my reason.
Yeah, man. Vintage Jason Spezza has been amazing to watch this year. Harmon, what's your reason to plan the parade?
So my reason is pretty straightforward. Um, so like when your backup goalie comes in and takes over the starting position, that's when you should plan the parade because we all know that like, our starting goalie has not been consistent as much as we wanted him to be, and like he's dealing with his troubles and maybe like an injury like he says, and like he hasn't been consistent overall, and he hasn't been playing with the same confidence and stuff that he came into this organization like before. So I feel like when your backup goalie is doing that great and he could potentially take over the job now, I feel like that's a reason to plan the parade.
Bro, I was waiting for somebody to say Jack Campbell, man. He's been crazy, and like he's part of the reason we've been on this streak. All right, for my reason, I want to say just like Leafs ownership and management, and like the amount of patience and the amount of faith they're putting into Kyle Dubas. Like you look at, for example, what Denegan said with Jason Spezza, right? Like you this management team trusted that Jason Spezza can come in and provide, and they gave him the chance to do that, right? You have Joe Thornton, you got Wayne Simmons, who's been having a rough time out there, comes into Toronto, and I wouldn't say he's been playing amazing as of late, but he's been doing his job. He's been a positive influence on this lineup, and the main reason is like Galch, man, like Galchenyuk. I think last night's game he didn't look fantastic. He looked okay, but the 4 games before that, man, like Galchenyuk looked electric out there, and it like literally he's been through what Carolina, he went through the Sens, he went through was it Minnesota or Nashville? I think Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Montreal, and all these places like it seemed like those franchises, those ownerships just didn't give him a chance to play his style. They like I think especially in Montreal, they're really trying to force him to play a way he didn't. And what Toronto does is they get this player, and instead of throwing him into the lineup right away and seeing if he sticks, they convince him that like, yo, we want you to do well here. We're gonna send you to the AHL, and we're gonna let you slowly build yourself up, and then come play. And what happened? He did that. He tore it up in the AHL for the. That's the first time he ever played in the AHL. Tore it up there. I was on the Athletic, and there was an article about him. Apparently, like the Marlies coach, I think his name is Moore. He was like praising Galchenyuk. He's like he came down there willing to learn and willing to mentor the young guys, and that's because the Leafs believed in him. Now he's up in the NHL, and he's making me believe we don't need another top six winger. So I want to shout out management for really putting faith in these acclimation projects that Kyle Dubas is going for, and it's working out. All right.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's what I said to Jasker, and I think I mentioned in the group as well, like while we were watching the game. I'm like, yo, if like Galchenyuk is playing like like these consistent minutes and he's playing good and he's creating chances every time he steps on the ice, like I don't think we need like a top six winger if he can provide it and he could like score like 10 goals at least for us. So I feel like we might not need it.
Yeah, bro. Getting to your point where you're saying the credit to management for trusting Dubas, I 100% agree with that. Like I don't know why people like some fans hate him. He's been what what we wanted in a GM for so long. Like to have patience, have have a roster that's constructed in a way that where you can have a mix of veterans and things. And he brought in the talent like Matthews, Marner. Even though he didn't draft them, he was assistant GM, but he he developed guys like Janssen, Captain who are gone now, but he got assets for them that were really good. He brought Justin Hall. Justin Hall was an afterthought after he got drafted by Chicago. He developed him from the ECHL to the NHL top four defenseman, which I don't think a lot of GMs can do, and a lot of GMs don't have patience for that. And I 100% agree with you there because you never have you never he's been like I remember reading Brian Burke's book, and he said that he didn't take advantage of the money that he was given by MLSC at that point, which kind of pissed off MLSC because they were willing to give him money to develop these guys to sign free agents, and he didn't take it. So credit to Dubas of taking that money and running with it, right?
Yeah, I remember in high school when me and Ballard were shitting on Brian Burke and all these old guys on the management team. Like we used to say trades like what the Leafs should do, just like what Dubas is actually doing right now, right? Which is shocking. That's why like I don't know if Ballard agrees, but like Dubas exactly models our style of thinking with like the newer age of hockey, I guess. Like you
No,
you have
yeah,
to
I
think
agree.
of skill as a priority rather than finding your grit first and then your skill, right? And that's something like Brian Burke kind of struggled in at first. But I'm glad that Shani and Dubas took over.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
100% because like if you look at like the Brian Burks and the Dave Nonis Leafs, like you had Tyler Bozak as your number one center, and that's because they prioritized drafting guys like Tyler Biggs and Luke Shen. They wanted these rough, tough guys, and then the skill guys to sprinkle around them. But like we can clearly see it's a lot easier to get this toughness and grit after you already have your established skill set, right? And like it's a new age of thinking, right? Like the reason we would say those trades is because as a fan looking on the outside in, we can see around the league all these teams that were succeeding all had skilled players in that time. And that this was back in high school, like maybe like 7, 8 years ago. This was back when like the Chicago Blackhawks were dominating with Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith. They had the skill guys and they had the guys to build around. You get those guys and you build around them. That's what Kyle Dubas has been doing, right? Like he has this core, and now he's adding in the pieces like Jason Spezza, T.J. Brody, even Galchenyuk now, right?
yeah, like 100% agree with you. I remember people claiming that Mark Hunter should be the GM of the Leafs after Lou Lamoriello left or his contract expired or whatever you want to call it there. Um, his drafting record was horrible up to 2015 to 2017. I know that 2015 was Dubas and Mark Hunter co-running the draft, but 2016 and 2017 were awful, except Austin Matthews and Timothy Littlegrant. Everything else was awful at that point because he drafted Korshakov instead of the Brinkat. You didn't draft Carter Hart when he had a chance. Like all these types of things go into your decision making, and he drafted big tough guys like Emily Rassinen. He didn't turn out to be anything. Instead of Emily Bemstrom, which Dubas really wanted back in the day, but he didn't get the pick because of Mark Hunter running a draft. Um, yeah, so he brought in a really new style of thinking, drafting skill, and the skill can transfer over to um over to like NHL potential, which 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 is really good because you need that. Like you can't be signing like you can't be develop. You have to be developing like cheap young guys because you're paying this core but 11 million, $12 million a year, and you need that cheap depth to in order to become like a championship contender.
Man, yeah, like that's another reason I don't want to go super all in because like the amount of prospects and stuff we've accumulated, like Robertson looks better and better. I know we're gonna get into these prospects a little bit later, but Robertson's looking better and better. I think Dubas said he expects Sandin to come in and be able to like be a legit depth option for the NHL. Liljegren has been like fantastic down there. Um, yeah, like it's amazing just to have this amazing management. Like taking the trades he's made the last 2 years. He got Jack Campbell last year, who we're all loving right now on his 7-0 run this season. You got Jake Muzzin the year before, who's arguably been one of the most important pieces on defense. Like whatever Dubas does, it seems like, except maybe that Kadri trade, but that was only because Kadri didn't want to go to Calgary. It seems like whatever Dubas does, it's been only making the team better and better as we go on. So it's great to have
Um,
great
yeah,
to have a
so
management core like that.
yeah, so the Kaji shit, when we talk about Tempe, I'm gonna get into it. I'm just gonna wait for that.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get into those games, man. There was 5 games, one against the Sens, two against the Oilers, and two against the Jets. I want to say 4 of them went to overtime. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, literally 1, 2, 3, 4 of these games went to overtime, which is crazy. So, other than that 3-1 win against the Jets, it's been a lot of close games. But I think despite that, though, the Leafs have looked solid in those games, and Jack Campbell really kept them in it, except for that loss against the Oilers. And it's funny because Hutchinson was in the only game that the Leafs lost in the last 5. What have your guys' thoughts been though on those 5 games?
Yeah, so the 5 games. I'm gonna bring up some fast stats here. They were supposed to win all those games. Like, sorry, the expected goals for were like skyrocketing to the roof. So what expected goals is basically the goals you're expecting to go in instead of like like just whatever goals you have. So yeah, so those were like up, like they're dominating. Like they had like 3 goals and like three 3 point like something expected goals, while the Oilers had like 2 or 1 expected goals. Cause that plays a big factor in like what do with like we talked about do with and keep coinciding with one another, having like this possession style game instead of where like dumping the puck in, where like constant possession. Like you even see that in the games where instead of like dumping it in, they'll circle back around. Like last night, I seen Justin Hall. He was tired, but he's seen Winnipeg go for a change, at least go for a change, and he just circle back instead of dumping the puck and giving the possession to Winnipeg, which is really good, really good to see because you want to have possession of the puck. You don't want to be giving the puck up easy, right? And it's better to have possession of the puck than giving it up. So yeah, that's what I feel like they've been doing really well and they should be winning those games, which they are, and it's nice to see.
I've never understood why like teams instead of holding onto the puck, they'd rather flip it out to center ice or to like the other team and then go for a line change. Like that made zero sense to me back in the day.
Oh, like
And
how
it's
they
like
just dump it in and then change. I like how the Leafs have been
yeah,
like they just pass it back to whoever's there, and then go for the change.
Yeah, like it's in their entire team that's circling back too. It's not just like the stars that are maintaining possession now, right?
It definitely makes
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna.
difference because it's a whole extra possession every time you change on the ice.
Yeah.
I want to mention the power play hasn't been that great either. So like I want to mention that like Riley shouldn't be taking those one timer shots, and he shouldn't be shooting more than Matthews. That's what like I think they need to work on, and they need to like you know progress on that because like that's very frustrating to watch when you see like you have like Matthews like on the wrong side of the power play, and then like you see like Riley, shooting, being like the first person to like shoot instead of looking for the pass from either like Marner or Matthews. So I feel like they need to fix that.
Well, I wish we had a good power play defenseman, right? Like a Tyson Berry, you know?
Bro, facts. How could I not mention him? Yeah.
Dude, Tyson Berry would be so amazing on this team right now.
Man, I'm so
You guys are
disappointed by
joke.
that, man. Like,
You guys are so funny.
Just fine. What do you mean?
Ha
We're not
ha
trying to
ha
be
ha.
fun. We're not trying to be funny.
Ha 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 ha. That's so funny.
Bro, he's a
no, the
Norris
joke part
candidate.
is
How are you
that
gonna like?
Yeah,
Why are
you
you
can't
dissing
disrespect the
Jafkin?
name, bro. You can't. He's gonna be on Team Canada too, with Zach Hyman.
Exactly.
This guy's
You
speechless
guys are
now.
freaking jokes. These are too
Okay,
funny.
okay.
I don't believe Tyson Berry to be
Okay, real talk though about the power play. I don't think it's Riley's fault. Like I'm looking at the stats right now. He's 10 assists on the power play. So I wouldn't even say it's mostly his fault. Like when, I think I mentioned this to you guys as well. Like they're not moving on the power play. Like when you look at other teams' power plays, like they utilize the guy in the middle, they utilize the guy down low, and they're moving around. When I'm watching this Leafs power play, it's Matthews on one side, Marner on one side, Riley at the point. Nylander's like blocked off by like two guys. Tavares is in the middle doing nothing. It's essentially a 3-on-4 because like they're not including Tavares or Nylander, or even they're not always doing those five, but whoever the other two are, they just pass the puck. It just goes Matthews, Marner, Riley, Matthews, Marner, Riley, trying to find an open shot. Like what they need to do is they need to skate and move around and find an opening, because like just standing static in one spot and passing around, it's so hard to find an open shot like that because now teams know, oh, it's either gonna go to if Matthew shoots it, we gotta watch out for that. If anybody else shoots it, it doesn't matter because they're gonna shoot from out far. We have so many bodies in the way. It doesn't matter. Like I'm not against Riley shooting if Riley gets to a good spot and shoots it. Even Marner, I don't like Marner shooting from where he does right now. If he can skate in or like maybe make a cut with his movements, like Tavares and him switch or something, that'll throw off the defenseman and it breaks up their penalty kill. But right now, every team's penalty kill is simple: completely take Tavares and Nylander out of the power play and just let Matthews, Marner, and Riley keep passing it around. And it's fine. And it's been working for like how many games now? 10, 12 games.
Yeah, I agree with you. They need to utilize the slot and and the front of the net because they're not doing as well as they were before. Like I see Boston's power play and they're always moving around. They're never standing still. Like BC Pasternak at the point, you see Grizzly go down low. You see Bergeron and Marchand switch around. Like they need to start doing that more because that makes a lethal power play. But that also results in short on chances against, which which is a downside. But how much short-handed goals are you gonna allow per season, right? That's the thing. And also like, you see like you're right. You don't have to you don't have to use all those. You don't have to use just three guys. You use the slot. You use Nylander or like Wayne Simmons down low, right? Because Simmons was really good before he got injured, and what he feels like I haven't been 100% since I came back, which is kind of concerning. Like while you're in the lineup, you need to get some rest, right? But the rest is the rest needs to recover a bit more. But I think that's gonna come with more he plays, right? But also like with what Harmon was saying, Roddy, I think, is a big problem on the power play. Like, I know you guys don't think that, but I think he is. Like, he needs to be more deceptive on the blue line. Like, he basically cubing the power play. Let's be honest. It's not Martin. It's Roddy cubing the power play. Cause what he does is he's not deceptive enough. And I always see him look off Matthews. Like, why looking off Matthews? Like, stop shooting him more and just, try to be more deceptive. Like, it doesn't mean always shoot it and shoot it and shoot it. You bring another Tyson Berry, but of last year, not this year, but last year,
Okay, put
of
some respect on the name.
of shooting into ankles, right? So
Yo,
that's what
bro, come on.
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, last year Tyson Berry was ass. Come on, we all know that he was shooting into ankles. Like,
Tyson
come on,
Berry
guys.
is my favorite player throughout his whole career.
Okay, so yeah,
Tyson
but like,
Berry, a Leafs legend, yo.
okay,
I
so
heard they're gonna put a statue of him on Legends Row.
okay. I'm just gonna be 100% honest, but the thing is, you guys agree with Ryan needs to be more deceptive on the blue line. He can't be shooting it more and more and more and expecting you to get through. Like, you need to find a
Okay.
lane.
I got more thoughts on this, but let's hear Tanegan and Harmon's thoughts on the
Yeah,
power play
Tanegan,
first,
go
and
ahead.
then we'll wrap back around to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have to utilize like down low, because like right now it's all like from the from Matthews to Marner to Matthews, Riley, and Marner just controlling the puck up front or up top. They need to utilize like down low behind the net more, because like you need to space out the ice, right? Like right now, like teams know where the puck is going. And there's nothing like there's no surprises, and it's what like Jasker was mentioning too. Like Riley has to be more deceptive, but like everyone on that team has to be more deceptive. Like
Bro, that's what
Matthews,
I'm
we all know
saying.
he's gonna shoot,
That's what I'm
right? Like
saying. Like, how's
yeah,
Riley gonna be deceptive if there's no one to pass to? Because they're just standing
yeah.
still.
It's like you have Riley at the point, and then like he only has two options, right? Either to Matthews or to Marner. Like everything else is like, and we all know like his shot's not strong enough to go in, right? So like I don't know.
Yeah, and then on top of
You have
that,
to
like
utilize that issue.
even if he can pass it to Matthews, they're all there to block his shot because once the puck goes to Matthews, it's not going to Nylander or Tavares or whoever. They know it. He's Matthews gonna shoot it, or he's gonna pass it back to Riley and Marner, and they can let that shot go through. So what happens is Riley passes it to Matthews. Matthews sees he has no open shot. He gives it back to Riley. Riley shoots it because he has an open shot. But I don't know, man. Like they need to move around. I think it
Useless.
was one of the Oilers
Yeah.
games where I saw like Nylander and Marner like switching along the boards where like Nylander would come up top and then Marner would go down low. And I remember watching that power play. I don't remember if they scored or not, but I remember watching and being like, yo, like the power play looks dope right now. The defenders look confused. There was so much open space because all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, why is Marner down low? Why is Nylander up there? And they completely lose their assignments on the penalty kill, right? So doing stuff like that, moving around, creating space, like send Matthews. I know we didn't like Matthews in front of the net, but maybe for like 10, 20 seconds, you send him to the front of the net. Defenders get confused and he wraps back around and he might have an open shot. Like, just keep moving, get the movement going.
Yeah, I feel like the Leafs need to be more unpredictable. So like going back to my point, you don't have to pass it to Matthews all the time. Like give him like that one timer shot all the time. You could just like let Marner be the cue, like the quarterback of the power play, and make him make plays because his playmaking ability is like elite. I feel like he has the best playmaking ability on the team, right? So I feel like they need to give him the puck more and make him like, like set up guys and like, use his vision to make plays and maybe even try getting um Galchenyuk on the first power play unit. I don't know, maybe he could spark something, right? But yeah, like that's just like another idea of mine.
Yeah, I think they have to use the slot more, because like if you look at a team like Washington, they use Oshie in the slot a lot. You have like Kuzi or Backstrom on one side, like he has like three options to pass to. He has like you can pass to Ovechkin, you can pass to Oshie, you can pass to Carlson up top, right? With the Leafs, like the guy in the slot is completely useless half the time.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like Tavares doesn't do
Maybe
anything on the power play because
yeah,
he doesn't get a chance to. It's not even his fault. He just doesn't get a chance.
That's probably why he's the
yeah,
best.
yeah. So maybe switch it up a bit. Maybe make Matthews and Galchenyuk the wingers, the wingers, because Galchenyuk has a shot and he can rip it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you ever see a shot, he can rip it. And Matthews, so you can create a deceptive there and make Marner go to the front of the net and Tavares the down, because you know Marner can like Marner has a hand eye, but he's not the top front of the net, or maybe put Woody into front of the net and like Tavares in the middle, or like even something like that. But I still get Galchenyuk on the power play, or even go with five forwards on the power play. Go Martin at the point because he could defensively. Get Matthews on the swing. Get Galchenyuk on the Galchenyuk or Simmons in front of the net, and Tavares and Nylander. Like that's your power play right there. And you can just move the puck around, and you can swip back around, like do the thing that Boston does. Just keep on circling on until you find something, right? That can be an option too, right? Instead of putting Riley in the power play and him shooting into ankles, right? Maybe do that.
Yeah, I agree with you with the point about circling around and moving around. I really don't blame Riley, man. Like you're saying Marner is a magician on the power play. Like I'm looking at the stats right now. Riley only has 2 less power play points than Marner, and he has the second most on the whole team. So clearly he's not doing anything horrible on the power play. I think it's just a fact of what the Negan and even Harmon were saying. It just it doesn't matter who's on the power play. It just matters about moving around. Like we talk about this forward group and how amazing it is. Like throughout the whole, all 4 lines, just talent spread out completely. You got Jason Spetz on the fourth line. You got Engvall and Mikheyev who have amazing chemistry right now. It doesn't matter who's on the power play. It doesn't matter who's where. What matters is you're moving around and you're not static and everybody is involved. All 5 players should be involved. Like when you're looking at a power play, like you can kind of think about it like a basketball half court, right? Like most times when you're looking at basketball, the defending team is inside the circle defending the net, right? And the outside team might have 3 shooters on the outside, maybe 4, one in the center, and one guy who cuts, right? But what they do is they all move around and try to set picks, try to get open shots. But what it looks like the Leafs are doing is they just line up around the circle and they just keep passing to each other and hopefully they can get an open shot. But we'll see, man. Like I feel like it's impossible for this power play to just keep being horrible. Like and the thing is like the power play being shit goes all the way back to that losing streak, right? Like before that losing streak, the power play was great. So maybe like now Campbell's playing good, and if the power play starts clicking again, the Leafs can get back to being that dominant team that they were in the first half of the season, especially that there's only 19 games left. All right, well,
Yeah, I was
we're
just
like
gonna say that too. Like the fact that we're winning this many games with our shitty power play is like it sucks, but like at the same time, like what happens when it starts clicking, right?
that's when they become unstoppable.
Uh,
All right. So 19 games left. I think 9 days left until the trade deadline. Seems like most likely the next by the time the next episode comes, it's gonna either be a couple days before the trade deadline or it's gonna be the trade deadline or the day after. So this might be our last episode to make our final predictions on what we think is gonna happen. What do you guys think? Not only about the Leafs though, what do you guys think about the whole league? Do you guys think we're gonna see a very active trade deadline? Or do you guys think we're gonna see more of what we've been seeing so far? Just a lot of rumors and a lot of nothing happening.
I don't know about the rest of the league, but for the Toronto Maple Leafs, like we don't really need another piece, like as you guys mentioned, because Galchenyuk stepped up, Campbell stepped up, uh, like our defense is stepping up, right? The only thing is, as much as I love Galchenyuk in the top 6, one of his issues in the past has been being consistent. Like he hasn't been consistent his like through a normal season. So like that might be another uh, thing we have to watch out for with Galchenyuk. I know he didn't have the best game yesterday, but like that was the entire line. But if that continues being an issue, then like we may need to trade for we may actually need to trade for a top six forward.
I think the trade deadline is gonna be very active because like if you have like forwards like Taylor Hall being moved, like potentially moved, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be selling to like playoff contenders. So like, because they want to get that cap, they want to like free up some cap, right? So like, I feel like it's gonna be very busy, and I feel like the Leafs, they should add like as we said before, a depth to our like depth defenseman, and they should add maybe a top six winger. But like if Galchenyuk is not he's not playing well, or if they really need it and they're gonna go all in. But I feel like for now, I don't think we need him. So and like for other teams, I feel like if they are going all in, I think like there's gonna be like a lot of activity and like maybe we see some trades from like Seattle or something, but like who knows if they're gonna make any trades. But yeah.
So I was reading an article on the Leafs Nation. The Leafs Nation is like a article is like to focus. It's like a website focusing on Leafs mainly. So to a current space, they have 3.5 to 4 million to spend in between there, with like occurring the space of Simmons on the LTIR, or like even like Campbell on the LTIR, Robertson on the LTIR, even Thorne on the LTIR. That was they've been accruing space for. That's why you see microtransactions like Christian Rubens coming up, Scott Cyber, Nick Robertson coming up to the. It's not cap shenanigans going on to the taxi squad and going back to the Marlies. Even Benny Vevalainen, he's been going up and down. Ian Scott's been going up and down the thing. So they've been accruing space. It's been I think 3.5 to 4 million if I read the article correctly. That might be able to afford Taylor Hall without giving up a roster spot. So that's really good news to hear on the Leafs. But they can add like a good forward. Like you can have double retention too. So you can I think maximum I think is 50% you're allowed to retain with one team. I think so. What happened last year with Leonard was that the Leafs retained for Vegas, and the Vegas got Leonard. Um. So yeah. So hopefully they can um they can get a deal done in between these 9 days, which I hopefully they can. But I don't know for what, cause the top six seems fine right now. But the thing is, can they consistently play like this with Hyman? Cause what Hyman can produce on the third line is what makes this a necessity or not a necessity. Cause Hyman can basically run his own line. We know that now. He can run his own line with the grit that he has, and like with the like he's a power horse basically. He can do anything whatever he wants right now. But you see guys like Connor Garland out there, Taylor Hall, David Savard, Matthias Ekholm, and Mikael Granlund might not be on the trade block anymore because Nashville's in a playoff spot, which is kind of not entertaining to say the least, because they were struggling and they're planning to sing, and now they're planning to go to Davis Ward, which is weird because I don't know why they're buying, because clearly they're not going to beat Tampa, Carolina, or Florida in the playoffs. Um, yeah, so um, also like Elliot Friedman was reporting that the Leafs have checked up on goalies, the Arizona's goalies and Buffalo goalie, the Linus Olmark. So they're asking Campbell to tell them the truth about health and stuff, and be like, and tell them the truth about his health, if he's healthy or not healthy, so they can plan ahead and get a goalie in advance. And it all depends on the health of Anderson coming back. If Anderson's not healthy, then they can go out and get a goalie. Like they said, earlier Friedman said that it's not a necessity to go out and get a goalie, but unless they really have to cut all the cast based shenanigans they have to do in order to get like get like get like all space and stuff, and like also Linus Omar hasn't been that bad. He has like a 9-10 I think save percent on the crappy Buffalo Sabres. And I know wins are not a good stat, but he's been over Batman 500, which is impressive to say the least. And with the rest of the league, it might be silent this year just cause of all the quarantine stuff with the Canada and stuff. But they reduced it 7 days, so it might help with that too.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna make a trade for Weber. Whether it's a major trade or a minor trade, we'll see. But I don't think there's any way Dubas thinks that this team is at 100% where he wants it to be, right? Like, we lost guys like VC, we lost Boyd, so we lost depth options. So it's not like Dubas sees that and he's like, oh, it's fine. Like, we were over 100% when we had them. Like, clearly he knows, especially after seeing Muzzin go down to an injury last year, and then, like, that completely ruined that whole playoff play-in. If Muzzin was playing against Columbus, I think we would have won that series for sure. But that's a whole different debate. But again, like, if TJ Brody goes down with an injury, or you see Zach Hyman, like, knock on wood, goes down with an injury, like, what happens then, right? So you don't want a guy like Nick Patan to come in. You would if you needed to. So based on that, I think the bare minimum is one depth forward and one depth defenseman. I think goaltending wise, we're okay because although Freddie hasn't been amazing, going into the playoffs with Jack Campbell and Frederick Anderson is pretty good, man. Like, that's a pretty good duo tandem. Like, we shit on Freddie, but he's still a good goalie. I'm still going for like either Iafallo or I really like Foligno. I think Foligno would be amazing for the Leafs. Like, throwing Foligno onto that third line, like Foligno, Mikheyev, and Engvall, oh my god, that would piss off every other team that we play. So ideally, to me, grab a depth defender, whoever you can, from any team, just somebody who can play and somebody who's cheap, get for like a fifth rounder, and then go for somebody like Iafallo or Nick Foligno for a year.
What do you think happens with Reimer in Carolina? Because I think Mazurek is coming back from injury soon, and they have their young goaltender Nedjilovic or something, Alex Ned, as like one of their starters right now.
I don't see Reimer coming to the Leafs. I mean, I know everyone would love to see
Oh, not
that.
to the Leafs, but like anywhere.
I could see him going somewhere, even like maybe Edmonton or something. Maybe a team, because it seems like a lot of teams nowadays. Like, you look at Boston with Tuukka Rask, and then they got Halak, right? Like, a lot of teams have these like 2-star goalies. You got Vegas with Fleury and Leonard. You got even like the Leafs now with Campbell and Anderson. Like, having two goalies is really good because, especially in the playoffs, even if you can give your goalie a 1 game break or something, like, it's a difference maker. So I could see a team like Edmonton or any other team that's, like, on the cusp of the playoffs and who could use that good backup or 1B. I could see them going for Riley, but I didn't give my thoughts about the rest of the league. I think there hasn't been trades, but I think as soon as there's one trade, the dam's gonna burst open, and we're just gonna start seeing trade after trade after trade. Because there's no way that teams around the league all think that they're okay to go in the playoffs with their rosters. I know there's gonna be a bunch of trades.
So with Tanegan, I think Reimer goes to Colorado. To be honest with you, they need a backup goalie ASAP because I think Pablo Francouz has been injured, and they've been playing a guy like Hunter Miska who's been underwhelming to say the least. I think he hasn't been doing. I think Gubar needs a really good backup, and Reimer could be exactly that in the playoffs as well. So you can he can go there and like have a good playoff run with Gubar and with him.
Another option could be Philadelphia. They could definitely use an upgrade, like from Brian Elliott, especially because Carter Hart's kind of struggling this year and he's not playing well. So like, I mean, they could really use a backup as well.
Yo, I
You
don't know what's
guys,
happening with Philly.
yeah, did you guys see the article that was written about like It's unethical, but like, did you guys see the article where like someone wrote about Carter Hart and him firing a sports psychologist or something? That's such. I don't know what a reporter report this. It's not your business. Like it's not. Yeah, it's not your business. You shouldn't be reporting. Like Steve Simmons, that idiot reported that Austin Matthews got COVID. What the fuck does that matter to you? Like leave it alone. It's private information, right? Like I hate the like it's unethical. Stop doing this kind of shit and expect to get away with it every single time.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Philly because like if like I don't know if it's their goaltending or if it's their D or like because if both Brian Elliott and Carter Hart aren't playing good, is it the goalies that you blame or is it like the defense?
I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest with you, because like you have to look at the high danger scoring chance and all that. Like you have to dive deep into the numbers to see what's going on, what's going wrong there, because that's how you figure out like what you need. Like apparently Matt Neskin has been like a real like key in the defense because he retired and they've been missing him a lot apparently. So they might need to have like they might need to replace him with like someone that's been like uh a better leadership of some sort because that's what clearly they've been lacking.
Man, I feel bad for Philly, man. Like I feel like they're always good one year, then they're bad one year, then they're good one year, then they're bad one year. And then on top of that, like how many goalies have they had? I swear to God, I've been hearing about Philly's goalie problems for like the last like 10, 15 years. And I thought Carter Hart was finally the solution, but I don't know.
I thought Brizgalov would be the solution back in the day, but
Yo,
Yo,
they,
you know
yo,
what?
they,
Bro,
they traded,
Brizgalov. They even
yeah,
had Bobrovsky.
yeah, Deborah Bosky, they traded him for
Oh
two,
yeah.
a second and two fourths. I'm like, what the hell? Why did they trade him? Why did they trade him?
Because they traded Bobrovsky because they thought Brizgalov was legit.
Yeah, but yeah, but they
It
couldn't
was a
get both
shit
of them.
show.
Made them one A,
yo,
one B, right?
Dubas should make the trade now, yo. Buy low, and then
On Carter Hart.
Carter. Yeah, might as well. Trade
Oh,
Freddie there.
dude, that'd be crazy. I still think Carter Hart will be fine. I think it's just a down year for like the whole Philly team. I'm sure Carter Hart will bounce back next year. But yeah, that'd be crazy. Carter Hart would be like I want a goalie like that. Like Campbell's nice. I want like a Vasilevsky type of goalie, like somebody who's young and you know who's gonna be a stud for you for like 10 years. But man, yeah, like around the league, there's so many players available. Like even like teams like Detroit who has players, and you know like Iserman's over there now. You think Iserman's not gonna try to unload assets and like try to accrue like draft picks and young players? Like I think the next week is gonna be crazy. Like I think we're gonna start hearing a lot of rumors in the next couple days, and then I don't know if like trade deadline day itself will be crazy, but I feel like it's Saturday now. So like the next work week is gonna be intense for trades.
Yeah,
Hopefully
Detroit
we
has
see.
a good. Go ahead, go ahead.
Go. I know you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Detroit has a good team, like good future team, I guess. Like with Manta, Larkin, Zadina, and even on their back end, they drafted a really good defenseman. I forgot his name, but was it Sundstrom or something?
No, you're talking about cider, more cider. I think you're talking about.
Oh, yeah,
They got that Swedish forward.
Yeah,
Forgot his
Lucas
name.
Raymond.
Yeah,
Lucas
Raymond. They got him
yeah.
last year.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they got Svechnikov's brother too.
Dude, they got some good players. They got who's that forward again? That forward prospect, the one that's scored a bunch
Oh,
of
I
goals.
think you're talking about
Not Zadina. Talking about Zadina, I think.
Yeah, Zadina. Like that's
Yeah.
they have a lot of young
don't they?
players, so I'm sure like not all of them are gonna pan out, but they have a lot of good young players. So I'm sure at least they'll get a couple studs.
Alright, look out for another name. His name is Jonathan Berggren. He's in SHL, but he's killing it. So just watch out for him too. Another good trade bait is Bratislav Mesnikov. He's really good too. I wouldn't mind him at least too. He's I think 2 years a year on his contract left, but he's kind of the gritty forward that we need as well. Like good depth guy too.
Yeah, they got Glenn Denning on the team too, who I can see them trading. Glenn Denning. Oh, they have Bobby Ryan. Like Bobby Ryan would be a great depth forward. I'm not saying for the Leafs, but for like a lot of teams he would work because he can still play. He's not gonna play like how he did, but yeah, I think we're gonna see some crazy trades coming up, especially like nobody talks about this enough, but there's literally an expansion draft this year. And like you guys remember the expansion draft the year Vegas had it? There was so many trades, teams trying to figure out who they want to protect, who they wanted to release. And there's a lot of trades to do that, right? To acquire forwards just so they can expose them for the draft. So I think if not, like if it's not crazy this trade deadline, I think around draft time it's gonna be crazy, especially because of the expansion draft. All right, let's move on from that. Actually, let's just do our final predictions. Everyone pick one player, and Harmon, you can't say John Gibson. Everyone pick one player as your prediction for who the Leafs will acquire. Okay, I'm gonna start by saying Foligno.
Can I pick two?
Nah, bro, you can't change the rules. Just pick one. Okay, pick. If you have even if you have two players, just pick the bigger name. Just pick the bigger name. Who's the
Connor Garland.
Okay, you're saying Garland. All right, Denegan.
Nemesnikov.
Okay, and Harmon, you can't say John Gibson, bro. Who's your pick?
It's gonna be a tough one, yo. You guys already said like most players I was thinking about. I'm gonna say Connor Garland, yo.
Okay. Yeah, I can see Connor. I can see any of these guys, man. As long as it's somebody who, as long as a move that puts the team forward, right? Like it's not a lateral move, but we'll see. All right, let's talk about some officiating and the NHL referees. We didn't get a chance to talk about Tim Peel, that whole situation with quote unquote game management. And then on top of that, like ever since then I've been like I know you guys have been mentioning this in our group chat too, but like I feel like ever since that moment I've noticed even more how bad NHL officiating is. It's not like it got worse since then. It's just the same, but it's just more noticeable because of that. Like look at that Matthews hit last night. Like they clearly didn't give that penalty because like it was overtime and they didn't want to give the Leafs another power play, or that goal where it was like the first game against the Jets where Bogosian passed to Marner and then Marner passed to Matthews and then Matthews got it, like he shot it and then Hyman put it in. Like Marner got tripped up right before that in front of the ref and the ref didn't do anything. And of course that's probably because of game management or whatever you want to call it. And there was a couple games before that where I think something happened with Simmons and Simmons wanted a call and he went to go talk to the ref. The ref covered his mic because he knew he was going to say some controversial bullshit and he didn't want it to get caught on mic. I don't know, man. What do you guys think about this Tim Peel situation, this whole game management that's been going on, and just officiating in general?
Can I go off for a bit? I just need to get off something off my chest here. Can I do it?
No, you can't do it.
Come on, man. Okay, I'm just gonna do it anyways. So back in 2019, when the Leafs were quote unquote weak and Kaji had to step up because of playoff hockey, or you know, fucking call that bullshit. It wasn't playoff, but where the murder is legal. It's fucking so fucking stupid. Because when DeBrusque, I know I'm going back into the past, but this just fucking pissed me off when I saw it because I didn't even recognize it when I was watching the game. DeBrusque literally need on Kaji and just fucking nothing called because it's fucking bullshit playoff fucking hockey rules. That makes no fucking sense. And this guy fucking headshot tomorrow, nothing fucking called. And then when fucking Kaji goes off on fucking DeBrusque, they fucking call so much bullshit. That fucking pissed me off when I saw that. Because if Kaji was not suspended, he would not be fucking traded, and we would have signed Brody in the offseason no matter what. That fucking pissed me off. And we lost Kaji because of fucking stupid fucking refs can't do the stupid fucking down in the fucking playoffs. That makes no sense. And I'm sorry for swearing, but that's bullshit. And we all know that. And that game animation, it needs to fucking stop. Because there's no way they're going the game like that. And there's fucking no way there's no way betting is gonna be fucking louder than hockey. Because there's bullshit all around. They need to fucking stop that shit. Because they're not making any money out betting. No money whatsoever. And they're losing money because of that too.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Jasker and the rant over there, but like I think it was last week or the week before we saw, so I don't know who it was, but someone threw an elbow or threw a cross check into someone else's neck, and there was no call on that play. But Kadri, on the other hand, I think he got suspended for that last year or a couple of years ago. So like,
Bro, it was
there's
McDavid.
such a
McDavid
difference
threw
in.
that. McDavid
Oh,
threw
it's
that
McDavid.
elbow.
Oh shit! Yeah, even worse. Like, how does one player get suspended like for bare games like that, and like McDavid gets like what? He only got fined, right?
Yeah, I got a $5,000 fine.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it's fucking
bro.
bullshit. I'm
On
telling
top
you,
of
bro, it's
McDavid,
fucking bullshit.
bro, the McKinnon thing too. McKinnon chucked a helmet at somebody, and he got a $5,000 fine.
Yeah, that made me chuckle. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've never seen that.
That was funny. That was funny.
It's funny, but like it's still bullshit though, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're gonna give these small ass fines to guys like this, then why does Kadri have to get suspended in the middle of a playoff series for sticking up for his two teammates? Like it's complete bullshit.
Yo, man,
And go look, sorry, but go look at that play. Go look at go look at that series. It's too much fucking bullshit that goes on with the Bruins. It's not even fucking funny. It pisses me off. And the thing is, you need to fucking change that shit. Otherwise, they're not making money. They're not fucking going to the game whatsoever. And that pisses me off because we need to go this game and make it international sport. And there's no way they're gonna do that ever because with the bullshit officiating that goes on over and over again. And it's not like Don Che right now, but it's fucking pissing me off to the fucking max. They need to stop and call the fucking penalty. I understand that they need to they need to make a parody, but fuck the parody. You need to be able to like acknowledge the skill that goes on in the game instead of going like, oh we fight, we hit. It doesn't fucking matter. Like you don't. Who would you rather fucking market, McDavid or fucking Doc Ronaldo? Of course McDavid. You market the skill. You don't market the fucking fighting that goes on with the bullshit that goes on in the sport.
Yeah, Matt Duchene said it best. Like, Matt Duchene complained about it too. He's like how it's bullshit because they're basically penalizing the skilled team. Like, because it's obviously the skilled team that's drawing the penalties. And if you're like managing the game to make it even, like the power plays even, that's bullshit. Because like, how's a team like Toronto with guys like Matthews, Marner, etc. Gonna have less power plays or the same amount of power plays as a team like the Senators, right? Who are stuck in their own zone, always like, always like they don't play the skilled game and like they don't draw the power plays in the same way that Toronto does, but somehow they'll end up with the same amount of power plays, right? And like, I know there's shitty referees in every league, even in NBA, right? But with the NBA, like it's missed calls instead of game management. Like you never see the refs try to manage the game like that, even if it's like even if the game's like tied and it's the last second, they'll still call whatever a foul on whoever, even if it means like the other team loses on that play.
Like
Okay.
I
Sorry,
just
go
think
on.
it should be
Yeah, go
consistent
on.
for both teams. Like there's gonna be a game in Anaheim that's not called the same as a game in Toronto, and that's fine to me. Okay, but if Toronto is playing Vancouver, the same penalty should be called for both teams. You shouldn't see like Vancouver barely trip a guy and they get a power play, and then like it works both ways. Like and then Toronto completely like slash a guy's hand, he loses the puck, the ref sees him, they don't call a power play. Like even as a Leafs fan, as much as I'd kind of be happy because I don't want to have power plays to the other teams, it shouldn't be that way. It should be even. As long as like the same game is even. Like we keep going back to that Kadri game with Boston. Marchand, or it wasn't Marchand, was it DeBrusque? I think it was DeBrusque, who was literally running at Patrick Marleau, but nothing happens with that. But if Kadri does it, it's a suspension and it pretty much throws away the whole series. Like as long as it's even for both sides, I don't care. Either don't call anything for both teams or call something for both teams.
These refs hold a vendetta too, cause Steve Dangle and like they bought a Joe Jordan. I think he's an analyst for 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 the Sabres. Not analyst, but a reporter for the Sabres. So like a couple of years back when Alec Burrows was playing for the Vancouver Canucks, he was. This is so stupid. Like
Man,
like
Burrows
you
was
see
such a
non
shitbag. Burrows was such a
Yeah,
shitbag on Vancouver.
Burrows was shit. Like yeah. So what happened was that Burrow dived, or like what do you want to call it? Dived, what do you want to call it? Because you shit back, he dived. Dived, and the ref called the penalty on the guy whoever it was called the penalty, right? So the next time he got the ref, fucking the ref goes up to Burrow and he's like, "You're fucking paying for it tonight," and he ended up penalizing him 3 times. That should never fucking happen in a fucking game whatsoever. You're a fucking professional. Go the fuck up and stop holding vendettas too.
Man, it's some bullshit, but I just hope the NHL looks into it and just figures this out, especially before playoffs. Because if this type of officiating goes on in the playoffs, is bullshit. Like, and we've seen it so much against the Leafs. There's that Marner play I mentioned a couple minutes ago. There's that. Remember that Austin Matthews overtime winner against the Jets, where literally they slashed Riley's stick and broke it, and there was no call, and the Leafs still scored. But like, how can you just let shit like that fly, man? Like, especially come playoff time, I don't want to see any of that. But we'll talk about this more if it persists. We got to move on for now. Vancouver, man, like I didn't think COVID was gonna hit that Canadian division at all, but now Vancouver's getting it bad. Like we're seeing a lot of postponed games. I think the Montreal games were postponed against them. The Oilers game last night was postponed because of the Canucks, and I don't know, man. The longer it goes, the worse it's gonna be because it's gonna ruin a lot of other teams' schedules, and it's better if this season ends earlier for the whole league. But what do you guys think? Like, how long do you guys think these players are gonna be out? Because it seems pretty significant right now.
I think at least a week or two. Like, because like I was reading Chris Johnson's tweet, and he said that like it's not like getting better. So like I'm pretty sure like Vancouver is like down like a lot of forwards. I'm not sure how many they're down, but like it's probably like at least like 5 6 players, right, who are not playing. And I'm guessing it's probably like a 2 week span in which they should have a healthy lineup.
Just sucks for my fantasy team because playoffs start soon. So if all this shit can wrap up real quick, that would be nice.
Honestly, it sucks for fantasy because there's been weeks where I lost because of like postponed games. There's been weeks where I won because the other team had postponed games. So especially come playoff time, like if you have a team, like for example, like Michael, like in our league, he's been on the podcast before. He has Drysaitel and McDavid just because we had a keeper league and we started this like I think 4 years ago or something. Before Drysaitel was a beast, and if come playoff time, Edmonton has like 2 postponed games in 1 week, he's screwed because there goes all his points. So I don't know. That's why the Negan quote unquote beat me earlier this season because my players were all
Yeah,
postponed.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the Vancouver COVID situation is like going back to the Vancouver COVID situation. It's kind of concerning to say the least because they have a variant in their group. They have the Brazilian, I think it's B1 variant or B19. I'm not sure. B1 variant of the COVID, which can affect younger people in a way that it's kind of bad. It's in a bad way because it fucks up with the respiratory system and stuff like that. Sorry, but so there are 14 players on COVID list. Travis Boyd, Thatcher Demko, Jace Harlock, Bo Horvath, Tyler Myers, along with Brendan Sutter, who are joining Alex Heller, Adam Gaudette, Travis Hamonic, who I'll share a story in a second. Baden Hopi, Quinn Hughes, Zach McCune, and Turner Russell. Um, Travis Hamonic is kind of scary because he opted out of going into the with the Flames just because of his daughter having a respiratory issue, and now that he has COVID, he has to go home, or he doesn't have, or you can't go home to his daughter, who might be wondering your dad. So it's been concerning to say at least for him at least because he has his younger daughter to take care of who he can because of the respiratory issue that she has. He might not even get to go home. Um, yeah, hopefully all these guys can recover and not have like long term effects of this COVID stuff that's going on. Like what hasn't stopped in a while. Sad.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can just contain it. they can quarantine and this can be over in like a week. But we'll see, man. As long as it doesn't, the league is okay. That's what matters. All right, I want to talk about what Dubinsky had to say. I think it was last night or the night before. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if a reporter asked him this or not. This guy randomly starts talking about Sid versus Obi and how he would definitely take Ovi over Sid. When no, it was just so random. And to be honest, it's kind of nice to see because the NHL is pretty boring in terms of their players and their communications to the fans and the reporters. So it's actually funny to me. Like I like seeing this kind of stuff. But I wanted to talk to you guys about this. What do you guys think, Sid or Ovi? Who do you think is the better one?
So what are we talking about? If we're building a franchise from scratch, or do you want a player who can just
Bro,
explore? What do you
Sid
think?
versus Ovi. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You pick the context. Sid versus Ovi.
Okay,
Who
if
you got?
if I'm starting a franchise, I'll think of pick Crosby because of his leadership and because of the success he already had. So yeah, he's had two Stanley Cups, no, three Stanley Cups. Sorry, with the Penguins, along with um, along with two gold medals, and I think he had the World Junior Championship. Yeah, he had the World Junior Championship as well on the stacked 2005 squad where the lockout happened. Yeah, I have to pick Ovi Crosby just because of his alliance. I mean, of his not alliance, but his trophy case. Well, I know Ovi has like a rocker shot, but I was never a team guy than an individual trophy guy. That's just me.
So I've never heard of this podcast before, the Garage Beers podcast, but that's where Dubinsky said everybody wants to talk about Sid and Ovi, whatever. Dude, fuck Sid. Like I'll take Ovi every day of the week. I got an Ovi stick.
That's
Listen, I
hilarious.
asked Ovi. Yeah, I asked Ovi for an autograph stick. I got it from him. Thanked him. I would never ask Sid for a stick. Like, what a dick.
Dude, like, that's so random. Where does this even come from?
I think
Yeah, but
Crosby lives rent free in Dubinsky's head.
Yeah, clearly
100%.
Crosby did something. Maybe he broke his ankles in a game or something. I don't know, but
They fought each other like I think 5 years ago.
oh
And
wait, did they
let me
actually?
see.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
so
it
they
all
fought
makes
in
sense now.
2015.
Everything makes sense now.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, man, but like I would take Sidney Crosby over Ovechkin too. Like obviously they're two completely different players. Ovechkin the better goal scorer, Crosby the better playmaker. It's like the Ronaldo versus Messi debate in soccer. Like who do you take? Ronaldo's the better goal scorer and Messi's the better playmaker. Right? It's such a like controversial debate.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's just funny because it doesn't come up enough. Like when you look at basketball, like people are always saying, "Oh, like Kobe versus LeBron or Kobe versus MJ, etc." Right? But like I feel like it doesn't come up in hockey. So it's nice for Dubinsky, even though it seems there's a little bit of a personal grudge involved. It's nice for that to come up. Harmon, who you got, man? Crosby or Ovi?
I'm gonna have to go with Crosby because like he can literally do everything on the ice, and like if you're, as like Jashkin said, even if you are gonna start a franchise, you want somebody who's gonna lead your team, and he has great leadership qualities, and he's like a pure playmaker. So he makes plays on the ice every time every time he hits it. So like I'm gonna choose Crosby, and because you want a guy who's gonna be like doing everything he can to create a chance for you, rather than somebody who's just gonna be pure goal scoring machine and just gonna be shooting the puck all the time. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna choose Crosby.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Crosby too. So we got a Crosby sweep across the board. Yeah, you guys said he's a great playmaker, but he's actually put up 50 goals before in his career. So, I think did he win the Rocket Richard? Like, didn't he tie it with like Ginla or something one year? Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but I swear I thought he won the Rocket Richard where he had like a three-way tie with two other players. But anyways, yeah, like looking at their stats, Crosby and Ovechkin are actually only 6 points apart in total career points. Crosby has 1,303 and Ovi is 1,309. And yeah, that's because Crosby missed that like one and a half seasons due to his concussion, but still, they're really good, both of them. Like they're like true generational talents. But I gotta take Crosby, man. Team Canada, golden goal. He has 3 cups. Main thing is golden goal, man. That golden goal will forever be iconic in like Team Canada history, and Sidney Crosby gets to be in the center of it all. All right, well that wasn't even much of a debate. We all said Crosby. I know if Nadim was here, he'd definitely say Crosby too. So we gotta sweep with the Crosby. Speaking of Team Canada, though, I don't know if you guys were watching that TSN intermission coverage, but a certain TSN analyst, Jeff O'Neill, seems to think there's 100% chance Zach Hyman, Zachary Hyman, will be on Team Canada. Okay, and I thought he was insane, and I said this to you guys too, though. Team Canada did put Chris Kunitz on the lineup, man. Like, it's not like they're always gonna pick the best players available. They put Chris Kunitz on the lineup, and they won the gold medal that year. So I don't want to say it's a 0% chance, but it's a 0.1% chance that he'll make Team Canada for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but they already got the two forward that they need in Ryan O'Reilly and Sean Couturier, and like if they make Team Canada, then yeah, but Hyman's just a workhorse. Like he can go to get into the corner and get the puck. Like imagine him with McDavid. Like imagine McDavid not having to be able to hunt the puck down. He has a hunter. We call him a hunter because he hunts the puck down. What do you even call it? Or he's a dog on the puck. Dog on the puck. What do you call it? Like he sees the puck and just goes right at it, full steam ahead. Like it's not he waits for it to get to him. He just runs full speed and gets it. Yeah, so if you want a guy like that, then he'll make Team Canada. I'll give him a 20% chance.
That's really high, man. I'm surprised. Tariq and Harmon, man. What do you guys think Hyman's chances are?
And it has to be 0. Like, there's no way Hyman makes the Team Canada roster. Like, if you read, I think someone posted it on Instagram, like that video of the TSN panel like talking about it, and like all the comments are like, "Oh man, here we go again!" Like Toronto media overrating their own players, right? Like
TSN, Toronto Sports Network.
100%. Nah, but like if you look at all the Canadian players out there, there's so many good players that are gonna be left off the team. Like, would you take Gallagher or Hyman?
Bro,
Right?
but
Like,
Gallagher
if you ask a
won't even
Montreal
make.
fan that,
But Gallagher won't even make the
wait, what?
lineup. That's the thing. Gallagher won't even be close to Team Canada.
Yeah, but why? Like, why is Hyman close to the lineup?
He's not. He's not. I don't know where this whole debate's
I know,
coming
but
from. Bro.
I'll just do it on 20% chance. But you know why? It's because to bump up his value for free agency. That's the only reason why. You know what TSN?
That would
You know
make sense.
Sportsnet TSN. They're
Yeah,
bumping up the
freaking
ball, bumping up the trade.
Darren
bumping up
Dreger,
the
man.
fucking
Darren Dreger.
Fuck that guy.
Oh Lord.
That guy can fucking screw himself. That guy's a fucking dickhead. He always does that shit.
Jeez.
So annoying.
But yeah, like I'm just looking at a random projection, okay? Like I'm not sure who wrote this, but it's on the Sportsnet page. I think it's Chris Johnson wrote it actually. Yeah, I don't agree. I'm not saying I agree with this lineup, but let's just say for theoretical point, this is what it is, okay? Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Mitch Marner, first line. Actually, I'll finish this. Harmon first. Let's get your thoughts quickly, and then I'll go back to this point. Harmon, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that there's a 0% chance that he makes a lineup, just because there's more better. Yeah, because it's pretty obvious, like there's no way. There's so much more skill and talent out there than having Zach Hyman, even though he's like a battle horse, as Jasker mentioned, and even though he can provide that grit and that like toughness, and like he can provide all that stuff, but like I feel like there's way more skill and talent out there that Team Canada can utilize. So there's a 0% chance that he makes it.
Yeah, man. I'll still stick to that 0.1 just in case, but let me get back to this, okay? So first line, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Mitch Marner. Second line, Marchand, Crosby, Bergeron. Third line, Huberdeau, Point, Stone. Fourth line, Tavares, Couturier, Stamkos. 13th and 14th skaters, Shifley, Barzell. People who couldn't make the team, Ryan O'Reilly, Taylor Hall, Bo Horvat, Tyler Seguin, Logan Couture, Claude Giroux. In what world does Hyman make it over any of those names? Not a single one of those names Hyman can make it over. Like, I don't even know where Giscard's 20% comes from. Like, the only reason Chris Kunitz made Team Canada in 2014 is because him and Sid had, like, amazing chemistry. So they wanted to keep their chemistry on Team Canada, which I still don't agree with because my boy Claude Giroux back in the day was a beast, and he did not make Team Canada. Forget about that, but they still only put Chris Kunitz on because he had, like, insane chemistry with Sidney Crosby. And the point about, like, maybe Hyman making it, Marner's fine, man. I don't think Marner needs to be with someone who creates chemistry with him because Marner is the type of player who can click with almost any player, and we've seen that throughout his career. He made JVR like a beast of a goal scorer. He played with Bozak and JVR on that third line, and he carried that line single handedly. He's amazing with Matthews. He's amazing with Tavares. Marner can play anywhere. He doesn't need Zach Hyman.
That 20% was a joke.
Now it's a joke. Now it's a joke. Okay. After
was
we
a
all
joke
give
in
our
the first
points,
place.
then it becomes a joke.
Nah,
Yo,
I had
then
22
that, wait. Then that Barry Norris candidate better be a joke too. That you're not saying that he's not a candidate, Li. Watch.
He's not a Norris candidate. I'm telling you guys,
Oh,
stop pissing me
my.
off with that. He's not a Norris. Okay, well, we'll see. I'm just gonna say we'll see.
Hey.
We'll see.
Tyson Berry has a better chance of making Team Canada than Zach Hyman. No cap. No cap.
That's facts.
That's
100%.
true.
100% facts.
Okay, whatever, man.
Yo, by the end of the season, we're gonna prove you wrong, Jaskran. That Tyson
okay,
Berry
we'll see Berry
is a Norris
He's not
candidate.
a fucking Norris candidate, man. Okay, man. We'll
Hey, just kind of, there's kids listening to this, man. Think about the kids.
We'll see. I already swore it out on the thing on the wrestling side. So it doesn't even matter now. Kids, cover your ears if you're listening to this.
Okay, so it's getting pretty late, so we're gonna start wrapping it up. We'll get a prospect update from Giscard now, and then we'll see if we have time after that. Maybe we'll talk about some NBA news because we missed out on a lot of the NBA trade deadline stuff. So for now, Giscard, let's hear some prospect updates. We'll talk about that for a bit, and then we'll see from there.
Okay, so update. So you guys probably know that Alex Steve signed with the Leafs over the span that we were gone. He's more of a deceptive forward. He can work on a defensive game, but he has an NHL ETA. Maybe if he develops well in the Marty system, he can come up and be a depth piece for the Leafs, which you need cheap depth if you're gonna pay all those guys all that money up front. Interesting news out of Russia with Rodion Namirov. He might be coming over as soon as the NHL playoffs are over with his squad over in Ufa. He was eliminated by AK Bars Kazan. And then he got deported. He could go back down to the MHL, which is like juniors, I'm thinking, for the KHL. So he went back down there and he was yeah, so so a KHL Russian newspaper said that he might, as soon as the NHL playoffs are over, he might sign and come over to the Marlies and play on an ATO, American Hockey League trial. So that might be interesting to say the least. I want to see him, what he can bring to the North American ice, and then Philip Kral coming off from the Czech Republic. He had a good first year professional hockey there. I think six goals over there in like 20 something games. Yeah, he's gonna come over. Philip Hollander was gonna come over. either way, he's gonna come over soon as his season's over. Dennis Morgan is gonna come over. Also, there was an interview last night. I don't think you guys caught or anything, but Dubas stated that Robertson and Sandy are gonna be leased for a long time to come. So if you guys are thinking about trading a prospect, it might not be them unless it's a significant hockey deal, according to him. Um, so you guys might want this name to come up more and more often. Christian Rubens, he might be another Justin Hall. Hopefully, that's what I'm thinking of. Um, he's been progressing, developing in the AHL for 2-3 years now. He was the ECHL defender, just like Justin Hall. He was signed to I think an entry level deal, or like not an entry level deal, but like a deal with the Leafs back this past off season. Um, so yeah, hopefully he can be a Justin Hall. So the Marty's blue line been crowded according to Josh Simpson, Lilligren, Holloway, Rubens, Kivalami, Duzak, Rosen, Marinson, Hoffenheim, McCoy, Sapigo, and Sandy. And Kral and Kapchuk are on the way. Kapchuk was just recently signed to the Marties. He's 24 years old. He has a point per game in 19 games this season while capturing American International College. So yeah, maybe he can be a guy that can come in and be a good a good a good type of like who can develop in the AHL as well. So yeah, hopefully can they can come in and be like you got our prospect coming in the system. Hopefully they can fit into Keith's and Greg Moore's systems and be a successful type of player that can come into the NHL and be a cheap depth option or like even like a impact forward like a Miro.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, just Karen. It's great to see that a lot of these Leafs prospects are killing it now. Coming in the years, especially with like the quote unquote flat cap for the next couple of years, we're gonna need these depth options. We're gonna need these guys who are on entry level deals to come in and perform. So it's nice to see guys like Robertson, Amirov, even STA, and our young defenders as well, all hopefully capable to take a step forward and come in the next 1 to 3 years. Let's talk about the
Oh, and
NBA a little bit. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Another thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but Simone de Argentins have SDA and Robertson are playing the same as Joey Anderson. So hopefully they can get the same chemistry that they had on the Peterborough Preach, which would be really awesome to see them killing it both in the AHL though.
Could be our third line of the future. You never know. But yeah, let's talk about the NBA a little bit. We don't usually talk about this too much, but man, trade deadline was crazy. I don't know how much you guys follow the NBA. I know I talked to you guys about it here and there a little bit. But I think the playoffs this year are gonna be wild. We got like Aaron Gordon going to Denver. You got Oladipo on the Heat now. You got those free agent signings of LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond, and even like someone like Vucevic, who's been phenomenal this year, is on the Chicago Bulls now. Um, yeah, like I'm not sure if I think just you said you don't follow the NBA too much, but I know Thanigan and Harmon, you guys do. What do you guys think about all these trades, all these buyouts and re-signings? Who do you guys think is the front winner for the cup now? And not the cup, sorry. This is not about hockey, but the championship.
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
I
Don't say the Brooklyn Nets.
think the Brooklyn. Nets.
Oh, buddy. This guy
It's
just picks the
obvious,
bandwagon
man.
option,
Yeah.
bro. This guy just
Yeah,
picks the
man.
bandwagon
They're
option.
Irving. No, man. They taught their five and their bench is sick. Like you can't go wrong with the Nets. Irving, Durant, Harden, Aldridge, and Blake Griffin.
All right,
and
I'm gonna
Joe
interrupt
Harris
you
on
for a
the
second
bench,
here.
bro.
Do you guys remember during the Super Bowl?
Lethal.
Hold on. Do you guys remember during the Super Bowl when you guys were all like, "Oh, the Chiefs are amazing, this and that," and I'm like, "No, Tom Brady." And what happened? Tom Brady won. What's gonna happen this year? LeBron James is gonna win another ring. Book it.
Yeah, right. You want to
I
bet?
have to win.
Bro,
Yeah,
their
right.
team,
He's a-
bro, the Lakers are
Okay,
better
let's see,
than
let's
last
see.
year. The Lakers are better than last year. The Lakers last year, like if you look at their bench,
But
it
do they
was
have three
shit.
superstars and a sick
But they have
bench?
LeBron James, the greatest player of all time. They got. I'm telling you right now, like Anthony Davis is a better defender than anybody on the Brooklyn Nets. Like no cap. Like it's not even a question.
Yeah,
Anthony
but can
Davis
they
is an
can they can
I
MVP,
they
think
can they
DPOY type of
outscore?
Yeah,
player.
but here's the thing. Like
I
Brooklyn is
think
so
Brooklyn's gonna win.
efficient.
Brooklyn just stacked overall, man. Just like the starting five and like the bench is just like how you gonna stop that? Like I don't know if LeBron has enough, like fuel in the tank to like stop
LeBron
that.
is
Yeah,
one of the best two basketball players of all time.
yeah, but if Brooklyn's healthy, like how do you stop a team
But
of
he's also
Durant,
35.
Harden, and Irving?
The same
That
way
is true.
LeBron stopped the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, but Golden State. Okay, that is true.
But-
That is true.
Golden State
I have no
was
argument
a
against that.
Golden State in their what was it 73-9 season is better than the Brooklyn Nets now. And like that was a historic season. That was like what like they were tied with the Chicago. I think there was one less, or they were tied with Chicago, or they beat. I'm not sure, but that and the Chicago Bulls, they were the two best regular season teams, and that was the year Steph Curry was unanimous MVP. Okay, like
Was that when
that
Durant
Golden
was
State
on the team,
team.
or was that before?
Oh no, that was the year before Durant was on the team. Like that was when Curry was just
Yeah,
like
but like
God mode.
I think the team with Durant
Oh,
was
no,
another
Bara-
beast. Like
no,
even though
Bara-
regular season wasn't as
Bara-
good.
Okay, yeah, but that's fine. But
I think
when
yeah.
LeBron had
But
to
I think
play
Bars
against
might
Golden
have a
State
point.
with Durant, nobody was on LeBron's team, and LeBron still put up a fight by himself. Kevin Love was like half dead. Kyrie was gone by then, and he still put up a fight against Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. Now he has Dennis Schroeder as his point guard. He has Montrezl Harrell as a good power forward. He has Andre Drummond, who's like the best rebounder in the NBA. He has Anthony Davis, who's like amazing. Who Anthony Davis is like LeBron James' best teammate in his whole career, and there's no question about that.
I have a quick question for you guys. I don't follow the NBA a lot, but why did they buy out guys like Drummond with the Cavs? Why didn't they get assets back from him? I don't understand that. Like why do that? Like
Because no one's
Why not?
because no one can take on that cap. Like the thing in the NBA is they have a luxury cap, right? So what happens is you see a lot more overpayments. You
soft
see a lot
cap,
of
right?
guys. Yeah, they have a luxury cap where you can go over. It's a soft cap, yeah, pretty much. Where if you go over the cap,
Okay.
you pretty much have to pay a fee to go into that luxury cap or soft cap zone, right? So you see a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money, like LaMarcus Aldridge or even Blake Griffin, right? And what happens in the NBA is there's a lot faster decline in non-superstars, especially guys like Blake Griffin who used to be like a crazy superstar all-star. Like he was insane when he played on the Clippers, but he got old and his game really relied on like jumping and dunking. And even though he's been getting better at three-pointers lately, like he's not the player he once was, but he was making money like he used to, right? So because of that, no team is gonna take that trade, and no team's gonna take that money. So it's easier for them to just buy out the player and the player to leave because the player is gonna say, "Yo, Blake Griffin's gonna say I don't want to play." LaMarcus Aldridge told the Spurs, "I'm not playing anymore," and like the Spurs didn't want to play LaMarcus Aldridge. So at that point, you might as well just buy him out. Same thing with Andre Drummond. Like he was not gonna get traded anywhere else.
The reason
Bro,
why
bro.
I think Brooklyn's gonna win is because Harden, like this guy's has to
That's
be
the
the
reason
best
why-
facilitator in the league.
The
Harden's not a winner though, man. He's not a winner.
Nah,
Like
not
no,
at all.
okay, but he had that MVP season, the season the Raptors won the playoffs, the finals, right? He couldn't beat
Yeah.
the Golden State Warriors. He couldn't do it. He had a good team.
Yeah, but the Golden State Warriors.
He had
like,
Westbrook
didn't,
on his team
who was
too.
it? But Thompson got injured in the thing, right? In the finals that season.
It doesn't matter though. Like the Raptors were still
Nah.
winning up to that
Like-
point. Like
Like when you have Harden, like when Harden dishes out to Durant, Irving, and Harris, like three efficient scorers, like that's a completely different story than when Houston.
Durant is the only
he had
threat,
the-
like true threat on that team. Like Durant is the only player on LeBron and Anthony Davis's level in a playoff game. Like James Harden to me is all smoke. Like he's a phenomenal scorer. He can pass and stuff, but like he's not a winner. The way he plays, the way he hogs the ball, it doesn't work, and that's the reason. Like Chris Paul, who's the greatest, like one of the greatest playmakers, one of the greatest like team leaders in history, could not play with James Harden. He couldn't do it, no matter what. Like Russell Westbrook was
But
great
isn't that the
on
difference?
OKC. He's doing good now
Yeah.
on Washington, and he was shit on the Heat because he couldn't play with James Harden.
But isn't that the difference here though? Like, because Durant can play off the ball. Like Irving, we've seen it this year too. Like, this guy's like super efficient when Harden gives him the ball. Like, he doesn't need the ball in his hands.
I don't know. We'll see
Joe
if Harden
Harris is,
can
like,
buy in
another
and not
great
hog the
option.
Yeah,
ball
but-
like he
yeah,
has
yeah.
throughout his whole career.
agree
Maybe,
with
but
Durant can lock down LeBron too. We all know that too.
yeah, but
But
who's gonna
yo-
lock down Anthony Davis?
Yo, you're forgetting.
Yeah, that's true. They don't have
Uh,
a big man that can lock down. They have DeAndre Jordan, but DeAndre Jordan's not that good anymore. So yeah,
He's washed. What were you saying, Harmon?
Yo, but you're forgetting that James Harden's a 3-point threat, just like Curry. Like, bro, like once he like goes off, he's gonna keep going, right?
Bro, okay, guys, literally, like, look at the Houston Rockets in the last 2 or 3 years. Every time they get into the playoffs, they brick. They brick. James Harden bricks in the playoffs, man. Like he had one series where he shot 20% from the three because like there's players like, and you can look at this in the NBA as well, right? Like there's players who are good, but they don't perform in the playoffs when it matters.
Yeah, but you're talking about only James Harden. You're not talking about Kevin Durant who's a proven playoff performer, Kyrie Irving who's a playoff performer. You don't really have to only pass to Harden.
That's fine, but like the reason everyone's saying the Nets are gonna win is because James Harden is also on that team.
Nah, man, I don't think that. They have depth. 'Cause they can substitute. If Harden's struggling, you can put Joe Harrison. Like Joe Harrison is a phenomenal shooter, right? You can substitute him out. So that's all I'm saying, right? So
The
you can
reason I
substitute
think
Harden out,
Brooklyn
right?
may lose is because like they haven't played together like this entire season, like their entire team. So like team chemistry could be an issue going into the playoffs.
Dude, that's
That
what
could-
I'm saying.
that-
Like,
yeah,
I
that
don't
could be an
trust
issue
the
too, right?
chemistry. I don't trust James Harden to share the ball when it matters.
Yo, bro, Steve
Okay,
Nash
what about outside?
is gonna create that chemistry. He's gonna lead them to a championship.
He's gonna sign and
Yo,
he's gonna play for
didn't
us. He's gonna play for Brooklyn.
didn't Kyrie say they don't need a coach? And then Steve Nash was like, "Yo, what the
Yeah.
fuck?" Like,
But who do you think outside of
is Kyrie
Lakers and
is
Nets?
Kyrie Irving the biggest baby in basketball, or like what? 'Cause I think that is he the biggest baby in basketball or what?
the biggest what? Sorry.
The biggest baby in basketball, like he blinds a lot. Isn't that what he's like known
He's
for?
not a baby. He's just weird. He's just a weird dude.
He
Like,
is weird, right? Like he thinks the earth is flat. Like get that out of here. Like isn't that like isn't that like he's just weird. Like I think he's just a baby to be honest with you. Like he went out for LeBron. He went to Boston. He cried there, and he's crying in fucking Brooklyn, being we don't need a coach. You need a coach, you dumbass.
he's just weird. But yo, Tanika, what were you saying? Sorry.
Like outside of the Lakers and the Nets, who do you think takes it? Like if you had to pick a team.
I would say Denver. Like easy. Like to me,
Bro,
there's
because
only
Jokic.
4 true threats in the NBA, and it's Denver, Lakers, and like the Miami Heat and the Nets.
Yeah,
And, like,
I'd say
to me,
Miami.
Miami's nasty too because they added
Miami's sick.
Victor Oladipo, and Victor Oladipo's style of play, like that gritty style of play, really matches the Miami Heat. But I don't know, man. Denver was insane last year in the bubble, and Aaron Gordon as like a depth option for them is crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Denver too. Like, but what about Boston? What do you guys think about Boston?
Bro, I hate that city in every sport, so no.
But
Basketball,
Jason Tatum's
hockey,
he's only
whatever you
19 years
talk
old.
about, I hate Boston.
But like the thing is, it sucks with Utah because like they're like built for the regular season, but like come playoff time, they're nothing.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with Rudy Gobert because like Rudy Gobert is their like
It does.
technically their number 2 superstar, right? But he's not a scorer, right? And he can't shoot.
Yeah.
He can't space the floor. When he's on the court, it's easy to defend him because he's just gonna sit in the paint. Like defense, like he's a insane defender, but like he doesn't provide much offensively for them.
The true winner of the true trade deadline was Toronto when they got Trent Jr.
Yo, I was
he's
just about to mention
sick.
that,
He's so
bro.
sick.
That was like a sleeper trade, you know? Like nobody thought like that was gonna be like a great trade, but it's actually turning out to be a better trade for Toronto, I feel like.
Like he fits in perfectly too with like the timeline of like OG and Siakam and stuff. Like he's on the younger side, and like he's the type of player who can play without the ball, right? Like Norman Powell needs the ball to succeed, and you already got guys like Lowry, Van Vliet, like Siakam who play with the ball. Gary Trent can be successful without the ball, which is key. And like it looks like they might have a top 10 pick this year. So the Raptors have been pretty good with their drafting. So if they can draft a solid player in their top 10 pick, like this team could start competing again. And then of course, you know Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to come home to Toronto, so there's that as well.
Didn't you already resign with the Bucks for like the max? How's he coming home?
Bro, it doesn't matter,
I
man.
understand
Masai's
that. And Masai
Masai
Masai's not signed past this year, so I don't. Where's Masai's future at? That's what I'm talking
Masai will bring Giannis to Toronto. It's the
Masai's not.
prophecy.
What if Masai doesn't stay in Toronto, guy? That's the issue. Masai hasn't been resigned yet. You know that, right? Masai's not resigned yet. That's all I'm saying. Like, what if he leaves?
I'm literally just joking. It's just a meme. Everybody thinks that like
I know,
Giannis
I
is
know,
coming to
I know,
Toronto
I
because
know, I
like
know, man.
apparently
I
Masai helped them out like back in
Yeah.
Europe or something.
Yeah, it's applicant.
Yeah,
I think is back in his camp or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, but Masai's not signed past. It's a worry for the Raptors, to be honest.
I'm kind of cheesed they didn't trade Lowry. Like if he stays after this offseason, I won't be mad. But if he walks away, I'll be pretty cheesed that they didn't trade him.
Did they
Yeah,
mention why they didn't trade him? Like,
I was talking to you about that. Like, yo, they could have got like some, you know, like assets back, like at least like a first round pick and stuff, and
They
like a
wanted Tyler
prospect, right?
Hero. They wanted Tyler Hero. I don't know about that. The Heat were
Apparently,
moving
the
for-
Miami Heat offered Duncan Robinson, who's pretty good, man. Like Duncan Robinson's a great shooter. That's probably not the value you want. But then apparently Philly was offering 2 first-round picks and Tybal and Maxley, I think. I thought that was a great package. Like, yeah, Philly's gonna be bottom of the draft like almost every year because they're a really good team. But 2 first-round picks in the NBA is really good, and you see a lot of these players who succeed when they're drafted late. Like Jokic was a second-round pick, I think. Um, like Giannis was a 14th overall pick. Siakam was a 20-something overall pick. Like you can get good players in the NBA with late-round picks. So I think they should at least trade in for something, at least a first-round pick or something.
I think that's what they wanted.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't-
think that's offered to them. To be honest, with you. I think that's what they wanted. That's why I read. But
all I know is it's gonna be a sad day when the Lowry era ends.
Man, I think they should actually build his statue. Like they should add it. Like Legends Row shouldn't just be the Raptor or the Leafs. I think a Lowry statue would be so dope, man.
100%. But like, I hope he doesn't leave this year.
Yeah, I want him back. I want
But
him
it-
to retire here. Like just finish his career out.
Yeah, but it would make sense for him to go to a contending team. But I don't know. We'll see.
He is 35 though, so like maybe he's planning to retire in like 1 to 2 years. So who knows? All right, guys. Anyways, it was actually fun talking about basketball. Get a little change of pace. Maybe we'll try to include some more basketball, especially once like playoff times rolls around. Because I know like playoff basketball is crazy to watch. So we'll try to get a little bit of basketball talk mixed in with the Leafs and hockey as well. Thank you guys for listening. As always, make sure you guys follow, like, share our podcast to other people if you enjoy it. Thanks for listening, guys. See you later. Bye.